Harley-Davidson announced the new Lowrider S, the Lowrider ST, Road Glide ST, and Street Glide ST. And I can tell you that the Lowrider ST is not for me, but that's okay. I say that because I feel like I have to make this video every so often, because when a new bike comes out, there's a bunch of people that are positive about it and there's a bunch of people being negative about it. And a lot of times people are being negative about it for like trollish reasons. You guys know me, I have muscle bikes. I got the V-Rod sitting in front of me, torn apart. I got the M109R behind the camera, and I got my friend's Victory Gunner for a little while as well. This is kind of what I like to do here. And for me, the Lowrider S is kind of more my speed. I like the way that bike looks. And as for the Lowrider ST, I'm not a big fan of the fairing or the hard bags on the side, but I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not bashing the bike. And there are people that are just so adamant about trying to deter people from being excited, and I guess in our niche with motorcycles, they're trying their best to just deter people from being excited about it, and that's so freaking toxic, man. Like I said, I like what the ST is, but I just know that I'm not the market for that motorcycle. And when Harley-Davidson designed this bike, they saw a trend in the market from the custom scene. People have already been doing these type of things to the lowrider and also the dyno. And Harley-Davidson said, okay, people want this, let's make the bike from the factory so people can buy direct from us. And of course, a different style fairing. But this fairing, of course, is not brand new. It's based, I mean, it's brand new, but it's based off of the 80s FXRT and the FXRP. And again, Harley saw that, and the custom scene saw that, and people wanted it, so the custom scene did it, and Harley-Davidson made it as well. They put the new, they put the 117 Milwaukee 8 in there. It gave it taller suspension. Custom scene's been doing this. But the point is that now you can get it direct from the factory, which is really cool. I personally wanted to see more from the event. Very interested in the Revolution Max platform after riding the Pan America. I have a V-Rod with the Revolution motor. I wanted to see the Revolution Max engine in that bike, but I'm not upset that it's not in there. And I guarantee when I ride the bike, I wouldn't even care that the Revolution Max isn't in there, because it's a whole different feel, right? The nearest thought I have about that is when the Indian Chief came out, the new one. A lot of people were saying, why didn't they just put the 108 in there, the Power Plus? And I said the same thing, but I still thought the motorcycle was good. I was like, okay, it's just not for me. And when I actually rode the bike, sat on it, put my hands on it, experienced the technology that was in the bike, I fell in love with it. And I literally have on my review saying, I do not miss the Power Plus 108. You know, they nailed it. And to this day, the Indian Chief with the 116 Stage 2 is one of my favorite bikes that I rode of 2021. That bike hit the check marks in every place for me. So my point is, you're gonna have people in this community in many different niches, many different markets, that are gonna feel like they're just being trolls, and they feel like the market is only them. But when you look at what the market is, the motorcycle market, you have short people, tall people, tiny people, big people, people that commute to work, people that only ride on dirt, people that switch it up with ADV bikes, people that do long distance touring, people that only like to do stoplight, boulevard type riding with, you know, the V-Rod or drag style bikes. There's so many different people, beginner people, advanced people, people that don't have a lot of money to spend on bikes. There's so many different markets within the motorcycle market. And people get so caught up in themselves that they just rule out that just because they don't want the bike, somebody else doesn't, right? But my message to you guys is, don't listen to that. And I really hope you don't get caught up in the whole, like, I guess this bike is trash because somebody else said it. And I know you may not think that, but seeing stuff kind of influences us when we don't realize it. For instance, when I bought my V-Rod Muscle, when I first started riding, people told me don't buy a Harley. And eventually I bought my V-Rod Muscle in 2020. That was in 2012 when I first started riding. And over time, I gained more experience and learned more about the brands and stuff. And I realized, like, hey, that bike is kind of cool. I think I want one. And eventually I bought it. And it's one of the best motorcycles I've ever owned. Seeing a bike on paper, seeing it in an article, seeing it on pictures is completely different than seeing it in person, seeing the angles, how the designers, made certain lines in the bike, and once the light hits it and everything, seeing somebody own it going down the highway, that is so freaking different than seeing it on paper. Sitting on it, putting your hands on it, realizing like, dang, they set this bike up for me. Oh, I'm comfortable when I stretch my legs out. Feeling the suspension, feeling the motor, why they chose liquid cooled over air cooled or vice versa. There's so many different reasons why you should not take everything you see on the internet as a grain of salt. But yeah, don't let these negative Nancy's stop you from experiencing these bikes. I always tell people, get out here and experience these bikes for yourself and form your own opinion, because you got a lot of people that are just out there just to spew hate, and it sucks. But I'm excited to see the Lowrider ST in person. I'm probably not gonna buy one, but I know if I ride it, I'm gonna like it. It's just not my style. But yeah, I'm excited to see what other people think about it. And if you want to hear my story about the V-Rod Muscle and how I bought this bike, my very first Harley-Davidson, you can click this little card on the video and it'll take you straight to it. But as always, if you're subscribed, and as always also, thanks for listening to my story. If you're subscribed, I'll see you in the next one.